Podcast. My opinion. Podcast. All nine niggas, bitch.
All right, you guys, we are back with another episode of In My Opinion Podcast. I've got to my left someone who you haven't seen in a couple of seasons, Mr. Kabir Singh.
What's going on, boys?
All right. And someone new to my right. We were supposed to have Jeremy Curry.
But we upgraded.
But we upgraded to James.
Thank you.
I don't know your last name, huh?
Elola. It's Elola. So it's like
see, I would
cola,
mispronounce
but with
that.
Elola.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. There
Sounds
we
like
go.
a disease.
All right. Because I thought we were going to have Jeremy on here. Hopefully you're a sports guy.
I am.
I decided to go, we do this thing called This or That.
Right.
And we go this or that. It's that easy. You pick one or the other. All right. So I'm going to shoot it over to Kabir first. And this is just a warm up to get everybody okay before we get into some real shit.
This or that.
All right. So I did 90s basketball to start with.
Okay.
Because that's the only era that I really watched and that I give a fuck about. All right. So
I can tell by
this
your opinions
or
about
that.
basketball.
Yeah. You going with Hakeem, the Dream, or Shaquille O'Neal?
No, Shaquille O'Neal all day. He was the most dominant center in the 90s. Hakeem was amazing. I mean, he had so much skill that I haven't seen in a big man in a long time. I think Hakeem was great. He won, I want to say, 2 titles? Hakeem won 2, right?
2.
I think he did, yeah. And,
Who did he beat though?
I believe it was the 2 years.
I mean,
where
who was
Jordan-
the other team that he beat?
I know Jordan wasn't playing those 2 years. So I want to say, wasn't it the
So-
Knicks?
No.
who
It
was
was
the
it was the dude that who you picked.
Who?
He beat Orlando
Orlando?
twice. Yeah. He
how
beat
old-
Shaquille.
Oh, I remember that. I think
Yeah,
Shaq
yeah.
was like, what was he, 19?
That's why I threw it
Was
out there.
Shaquille O'Neal, what,
Yeah, he
19
had
or
to be,
20?
'cause
Was
that-
it like freshman year? By the way, how good was Shaq? Did he get to the finals in his rookie year?
Not the rookie year. No.
Year later?
I think it was 2 years later.
Not bad, dude. But when he was on his prime, when we're talking prime Shaq versus prime Hakeem, when it comes to dominance in that game, forget about it. Shaq was
But
insane.
I think he had to get trained by Hakeem.
I think Hakeem had more skills. I think he had way more skills with his scoring and stuff. Shaq was just playing bully ball. You couldn't stop Shaq. He would just go in the paint and just dunk on
You
It was a
couldn't unless
complete
you was Hakeem the Dream.
No,
so
yeah,
then
right.
you
No,
stopped
no.
fucking Shaq.
No,
So
only for.
I'm
I'm talking.
I'm
prime
just
versus
saying.
Prime. Prime versus prime. If you really want to talk about somebody that actually stopped Shaq and did the best job against Shaq, was another
Okay.
guy from Houston,
Who?
Yao Ming.
Oh,
Yao Ming in his prime. That guy was actually taking it to Shaq. And if you ask Shaq who the hardest player he's ever played against, it was Yao, which was disrespectful to Hakeem, by the way. He should have said Hakeem because he did beat his ass twice in the finals. But when Shaq was in his prime, Yao was given in the business. So, in my opinion, prime Shaq was better than prime Hakeem.
So then when we're talking about the Hakeem thing, I mean, he's the Dream. He's number one. He's over Shaq just slightly. And that has to do...
For you.
Yeah, that has to do,
Okay.
the 5x5s. It's very rare. I think AK-47's in second place with like 4 5x5s. But you're adding the blocks. So he's getting 10 blocks or 5 blocks per game.
Defensively.
5 steals. 5 points, rebounds, assists is easy. But 5x5s, there's only like 100 in existence, and he's got like 80 of them. And so when he was there, it was like this. Okay, when I think about him versus Shaq, dude, it's fucking close. It's hella close.
Yeah.
We're splitting hairs here. When we're talking about young Shaq, the first thing that I think of, remember when he is like diving head first, going into the thing, and he even shakes and smiles at the camera. He's laying out a 7-foot, 300-pound dude.
Yeah.
Sliding on his chest to save a ball.
And just for the record, that was the first and last time Shaq's ever done that.
Absolutely.
He's been staying on his feet since.
Yeah. So my thing with Hakeem too is like this. It's because I watched it. That was the 90s. Just like you guys, it's prime cooking, and you would just see all his mannerisms, the way he played the game, stoic, Tim Duncan style. But dude, he crushed, and he crushed on both sides. Jordan did not dominate the ball in the second on the other side of the court. He didn't demand. I mean, he's demanding a double team on one end, and then on the other end, he's the best defensive player of the fucking league, or maybe ever.
Who? Jordan?
Hakeem.
Oh, okay. Hakeem.
I don't know.
Okay.
If that's different. But I'll say, yeah, okay. Well, we're talking later in their careers too. Shaq did win another championship without Kobe, and Hakeem. I mean, he had Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen, and Clyde Drexler. And what did they do?
Yeah, they didn't win. Huh? Nothing.
I know that because I was in Houston during that time.
Okay.
Well, I think I'm going to lean more towards Hakeem for myself.
Is the host allowed to have
though,
opinions?
Right.
Yes, yes, motherfucker, it's my.
I got to be honest with you.
Right?
In my opinion, you should not have an opinion in this one.
But let's
Can't just ask a question.
Let's ask little Franco Pop. All right, I think he would say Hakeem as well. Even though I would rather interview anybody, it would be Shaquille O'Neal. That dude just seems like someone fun to hang out with. One of the most dominant players of all time. Great, but again, I feel like the way I see Jordan is I felt like the bad boys had to show him how to become a champion.
Right.
And greatest of all time for me. We could talk about that. We can't, but
Not true.
But greatest of all time, only because of what he did for the league.
And
Single-handedly,
Big wins.
carried.
I know.
Carried the league
And
on
look,
his
he had
back.
to go through the Jazz, John
But-
Stockton, and
No, but
get the
it-
fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah, you have to play who you're put in front
Beat
of.
everybody when there was 80 at that point.
I would put.
Destroyed them on wheelchairs when he finally got there.
Please don't start with your
go
LeBron
it.
James.
I'll do it. It's 39.
Ugh.
and Probably the
Yuck.
fifth best player in the league right now.
But again, let's talk when basketball was actual basketball and you couldn't travel, take 15 steps like you can now, right? Like this shit is
Basketball was never
ridiculous.
even meant for people to clothesline people. I don't even understand why people are saying that. It's like, they were
But
beating people up. It's like,
I'm not even saying that. It was way more physical. And I think, again, I grew up in that era where you just took one to the face and got up and played the next fucking round. Now, people cough on you and it's a
because-
flagrant foul
well,
or
there's
you
a-
get out like Draymond
do you
Green,
believe
which is
in-
bullshit.
Do you believe
Like,
in evolution? Okay, there was 5 people. There was 5 people at the peak, and then the other 98 were a bunch of mailman drivers that had to clothesline these guys. What the fuck are they supposed to do? All right, now you got Giannis, who's a pterodactyl, flying around swatting people. So let's be honest here. The reason why they were hitting them was because they couldn't guard them.
Yeah.
Now we got people guarding them.
The Wemby guy
Except for
too.
Steph Curry.
You seen this Wemby guy?
They had nothing like anybody. They had nothing like Giannis is a monster. They didn't have a pterodactyl like Kevin Durant running around shooting threes. Steph Curry's a video game. Just walk across the goddamn thing and press A. Have a good day.
Right,
guys
right.
act
As
like-
long as you pressed it right.
but you act like until Steph Curry came, nobody was shooting threes. We had fucking players.
yeah, well,
we had Mitch
not like
Richmond.
that.
we had
Ray Allen.
ballers.
Reggie
Ray
Miller.
Allen,
Yeah.
Reggie Miller was dope.
No, but
who
not-
else makes 8 points in like 4.5 seconds?
No, but
or some
nobody
shit?
hit threes like that. I mean, people were shut up.
And Reggie had an ugly ass shot. Let's be honest.
I always liked Reggie. I
mean, it wasn't Bill Cartwright, but it was an ugly
it's not
ass
his
shot. It
fault. The
wasn't.
center was Dale Davis. Like, could you get a rebound?
Well, they got fucked up because of that fight or whatever. Reggie would have got a ring if
If it was
The Malice in the Palace.
yeah. If it wasn't for that, they would have got a ring.
You know
that-
what?
that
When you
year.
got Ron Artest on your team, I mean, you fuck around and you find out. You know?
You know, I saw this clip just now.
I met him once. Very nice guy.
A couple days ago,
Very
and
nice.
it was early Draymond, and Draymond went up against Ron Artest, and it's like even he knew. He was like, even Draymond was like, "Oh, nice to see you."
That's I'll fuck with these 4. I will eat
Okay.
my children.
We're gonna stick on basketball.
Got it.
Again, everybody knows I'm a big AI fan. If you don't, James,
I do
But
not. No.
I love
But
AI.
we're not even going to talk about AI because these two I think are more comparable. Is Duncan or Kobe? We're going to let you answer first.
And that's why Jeremy was here because he's going to defend Kobe. So, phew. I go. You know, instantly I'm going to go with Duncan because I'm a Warrior fan and I hate the Lakers. But also,
the face he made
as a
when you said
basketball
that.
coach, I was a basketball coach for 6 years at Kennedy High School, and a freshman. So I got out of the Marine Corps and I just shot up over here, and they're like, "Hey." I read in the Argus newspaper. They're like, "We got a job. It's
Kennedy.
Kennedy being a freshman coach." I showed up to the meeting, and I just got out of the Marine Corps. I was going to Loney.
Were you the only person interviewing for that shitty job?
Absolutely, dude. I showed up, and the guy looks at me. He's like, "Will you
You're
be
in.
here tomorrow at 3?" And he handed me the gym key, right? And I'm cussing at these. I'm using like boot camp texts.
Oh, see, that's a good sitcom
awesome.
right now. You put me in there with those
Awesome.
guys. Do you like pussy or no?
Oh, you should have seen it. Oh, you should have seen it. Oh, it's terrible. If it was today, I would have been kicked out.
Why Tim Duncan over Kobe?
Yeah, why Tim Duncan?
It's gonna have to do with just being a hater. I'm
Just-
just being a hater.
He's honest.
Yeah, I grew up
He's giving you no stats.
as a Warriors hating the fucking, you know.
Hey, I say,
And
I say
Mr.
every one of the rings that Tim Duncan won, he won because of Tim Duncan, not because Shaq was on your team for
that's
3
Shaq
years.
again.
Well, as coaching,
Now all of a sudden, sure. 'Cause
when I'm coaching, I'm trying to tell people how to do it, and they're watching the NBA. They're not Kobe. They're not dunking. We're in Fremont.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what my starting five was?
You got to show them tape of Ruben
My starting
Patterson.
five was, do you know what you get when you get a Filipino, a black guy, white guy, Mexican, and I don't know, like we had a Chinese guy. I don't know what Asian part he was, but yeah, that was the starting five.
So it's hard to coach them, right? You can't just be like,
Well, they want to look at the pros, and they're like, well, pros can I watch? Well, you can watch Tim Duncan because his foot spacing, he's not trying to fucking slap backboard and grab the rim. No, he's fun. That's why he's the fundamental. Right?
Yeah.
And then you got Kobe.
He's not as
Kobe's the
exciting
greatest. Kobe's
as
the
Kobe.
greatest.
All right, so we're gonna bounce over to you.
so I guess
Kabir.
the question is, who do you think is better? Like if I had a team, who would I want on my team?
Yeah,
Who would I want on my team?
yeah.
I think Kobe is.
That's different.
I think Kobe is a better.
That's different.
Listen, man.
And are you playing the 3 or the 4 in that?
I'd have to listen. I think there's not a lot of there's a lot of people trying to be Kobe right now. None of them are Kobe, but there's a lot of people that Brandon Ingram and those guys built their games after him. They're no Kobe, but they do that. Tim Duncan was just crazy. He was kind of like, who Tim Duncan reminds me of today is Joker. You know that guy?
Yeah.
Two MVPs.
Yeah.
That's what
You
just
know that guy.
fundamental. People are just looking at him like, what? Come on, man. What are you gonna do? But I would say the better basketball player out of those two all around would be Tim Duncan, but the person that I would want on my team, I would want Kobe. I would want Kobe on my team.
Thank you.
Because I'll tell you why. If it's a fourth quarter, I feed it to Tim Duncan, then my double. Kobe is sick. He's a psychopath. He just wants to win so much.
Does Duncan drink or do drugs or anything like that?
I would say no.
I think he.
Because I would hang out with neither of them.
But
Fuck
Kobe
them both. Yeah.
And I think it's now. So
Look at anybody successful. I would say both of them don't drink. I'd say, so I'd say who I would want on my team would be Kobe because I could have him take over a game.
who has more rings? Is it
Kobe does.
no?
No, because Duncan
they
has
either
like
have the
8.
same or Duncan has more.
Doesn't he have 8?
They might have the same.
No, I think Duncan might have 6.
I
I don't know.
I'm just
So
knowing that.
fact check
Horry
that
has
somewhere.
Didn't
8.
Lakers three-peat twice?
No,
I think he has. A three-
not Lakers.
So who did Kobe? Okay, so here's a
yeah.
question for you: who did Kobe win titles with? Who was his Batman and Robin there?
Who did Tim Duncan win the championship with?
Well, he
Hall
won
of
the
Famer
first
Tony
one with-
Parker, Hall of Famer Manu Ginobili, best coach.
They're only
in
Hall of
NBA.
Famers because they played in the system. They were terrible, dude. They
Well,
would have been
the only
terrible on
reason I
another
bring
team.
that
They
up-
beat Kobe and Shaq.
The only reason I bring that up is because David Robinson, even though he was or still is one of the greatest players ever, he couldn't have done it with himself. So
David Robinson?
yeah,
He had to do it with a rookie Tim Duncan.
So he had to have Tim Duncan, and then he left, and Tim Duncan still won a couple of rings. And again, everybody knows I'm a Kobe hater. Like I'm just I love helicopters, but I'm just saying that fucking. I just feel like for as much as people put this man on a pedestal, he's not in my top 5. So Kobe.
Well, neither is Tim Duncan.
Yeah,
and I think Tim Duncan.
But they're both top 10.
Taking that early dirt nap is going to move him up.
So please don't let me lose the few subscribers I have for saying that. But I think I brought that up because again, Tim Duncan, unless you look at his stats, people don't realize he won as many, if not more, rings than Kobe. And people he's not in the conversation. So I wanted to bring him into a conversation where I was like,
They
I don't
must
think
have
this
the
man
same amount
gives.
of rings.
He's
I think
Mr.
it's either
Irrelevant.
I think it's 5.
He's Mr. Irrelevant.
We got to fact check this. I like the fact that other people do podcasts have like laptops and shit.
Right,
I love it
right.
like this.
And none of us are going to the
We're
phone to
not-
find
yeah,
out.
We're not trying to outclass anybody
Yeah,
out
right.
there. Listen, we're just
Tell the producer. Okay, man.
Yeah.
we don't need to be right. We don't need to be right.
Yeah. We tell the viewer to go look that shit up.
Are we still doing NBA questions?
Yeah. One more.
Oh, yeah, go
And
ahead.
only because I saw you walk in with a Portland Trailblazer
Rip
jersey.
City boys.
So I thought of these two.
Another rebuild.
Which I think these two are almost the same player. But you will tell us. So we'll go back to you first,
yeah,
all
go.
right? We're going with Clyde Drexler or Scottie Pippen.
This will surprise you. I would probably say Clyde Drexler. Here's the thing, though. I think Scottie Pippen was very overrated, very
What?
underrated,
Oh,
very
oh,
underrated. He
okay.
was actually before he got hurt when Jordan was out. He actually led the Bulls to probably the second best record in the East at that point.
Yeah.
They just couldn't do it in the playoffs because Jordan is a murderer. Clyde, unfortunately, the only time that Clyde ever played Jordan in the finals, Clyde was hurt. I mean, listen, we can make all the excuses you want. He was playing with one leg. So we didn't get that matchup. But the fact that Clyde was even compared when it was Clyde versus Jordan, and that's what pissed Jordan off, by the way. People are like, Clyde or Jordan? They're both like neck and neck. And they were never neck and neck. So that really pissed him off. But I think Clyde was a better play. I think I would take Clyde Drexler over Scottie Pippen. because he was a leader for longer, and Pippen was kind of like a Robin the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say Clyde. But it's also I'm very biased.
So my first basketball, when I was like a kid, I went to Moreau High School for a basketball thing, and I won a Clyde Drexler poster, and it hung up on my thing. So I looked at Clyde Drexler every day for like 5 years. So he's badass in my book. You know, sorry, it wasn't in Portland when he won. I think he went to Houston, right?
He went to Houston when he won his.
And then 5-time a JAMA when he was part of that shit. So I'm all my heart instantly, and especially with Kabir, I'm like, yeah, I would go, but no, dude, Scotty's the man.
Pippen wasn't.
Scotty's the man.
Pippen was in the Western Finals with Blazers, but you know what? I'd like to
we go.
change my. I think
love
we
that.
should actually go with Pippen just because of all the shit that he's going through right now. I mean, could you imagine?
Dude,
going to hit fucking
let's
your
talk
wife?
about
I'll
that.
change it. Scottie Pippen, my bad. Dog. You should get every answer from now on. I like Pippen better than Jordan now too. Sorry, baby. You need a couple of W's.
Absolutely, you're
gonna win the
right.
lottery
I mean,
next after
let's
all the
play
ball.
this real.
I read
you
his
know?
book. He went through hell.
stupid.
9 kids. His brother got like. His brother was in a goddamn wheelchair. He had to take care of his mom. He was in freaking Arkansas. I mean, it was just a real rough path. for him.
Now Jordan's son's
He's been-
running
Never
through.
made the money he should have in
Never
the NBA.
made the money. Always second fiddle to Jordan. Wife fucks Jordan's kid.
Kid.
That is what we like to call 3 strikes in a row.
His kid.
Pippen needs to be. We need to give this man a lifetime achievement
On
award for
Instagram.
not shooting up a fucking post office. Every time I see somebody depressed, I'm like, "Do you know who Scottie Pippen is?" Sit down. Let me see. I'm sorry, somebody at your job was mean to you, but
It's unfair.
All right. Well, I didn't get to answer the last one. Obviously, it was Tim Duncan, but I'll stay on this one. Pippen too. I loved Clyde. He just the way he moved in the air. It was
good, dude.
It was just
Well,
like he made you think he was flying longer than even Jordan.
he had a
Just-
squad around him though too. Jerry
just-
Porter, Danny. I mean, he had a squad. Kevin.
Yeah,
Delton.
I loved Portland
We agree,
Trailblazer. I could see why you was a Trailblazer fan back then.
You see
Was
why
Walton on
I
that?
was
I mean-
Portland, Oregon, and you see why I don't like Jordan. He was the only asshole that stopped us from the titles.
Was Walton on that
Pippen.
team?
I'm sorry, Pistons. Huh?
Was old man Walton on that team, or did he go over to the Celtics by then?
Oh,
Freaking
yeah.
retired by then.
No, he was playing for this. He was rolling those bones
That
out
guy
of the
was drafted
Celtics.
in '74 and he couldn't walk by '79. How long was that guy score?
Or talk.
Took us champion though.
All right, before I go to the last this or that, what do you have for us?
So does it have to be sports related?
It doesn't have to be sports related. Again,
Okay.
I wrote these because I thought Jeremy and it was something that
Well,
you
I
guys-
could do either one. Listen, I was actually going to go with this. So it's this or that, right?
All right.
We'll stay with current sports, right? We'll say with current sports. Is it Tom Brady, right? Who's retired now, right? Or Joe Montana as the greatest quarterback of all time? There's no third.
Oh,
So
then
I'll
that's
start with
easy.
you.
That's easy for me. But then again, I wasn't a big Niners fan back then, neither. And I guess until Brady won more rings, it was Joe Montana. That was the dude to beat. I think Tom Brady is the greatest athlete or winner, we'll say,
I'm an
of any
athlete.
sport. I think he's above Jordan, and I hold Jordan in the highest regard. I think Brady wasn't predicted to be what he was. He is. I feel sorry for him right now in his regular life, and that's just the
Oh, yeah?
tidbits
You feel bad for him?
just
got
the tidbits we've heard.
He's
right?
7 rings and he's single.
No, but I
And
heard,
he's Tom Brady.
and he's lost money.
Dude,
this,
but
that,
is
and
he
the other.
single?
He's
Yeah.
fine.
Is he single? Right.
If you feel
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
for Tom Brady, you
Yeah,
need to feel
you
bad
don't.
for Scottie
You have
Pippen.
problems.
Tom Brady, if you ever want to come on the podcast, hit me up.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna go with Tom Brady. I think for me that's very simple. I think Joe Montana, especially being out here in the Bay Area, he's a beloved character out here. Even though Tom Brady's from the Bay Area too, so
he actually is from the Bay Area.
yeah,
What about
he's
you?
actually from the Bay Area. Didn't just play. So.
Yeah, so Joe Montana, freaking watched him growing up and saw the Super Bowls, thought he was going to be the guy that never was going to get caught up to. And then you see Tom Brady do what he did. It's got to be Tom Brady. It sucks. It passed me. There was about the first 4 or 5 years, I'm like, And then all of a sudden you get there, because I'm a Raider fan, Niner fan. I pay attention. My parents love the Niners, so I do. But yeah, there's just a certain point, and that goes with Kobe, and it goes with everybody. You're like, are they good enough? Are they good enough? And all of a sudden, am I just a fucking hater? And by the time Tom Brady got better than Joe Montana, I'd say that he's still got 2 more rings after I thought he passed.
He
them.
went left and won another Tampa Bay one. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so refresh me of what this is.
I got another one for you guys. So this is not sports related though.
I wanted to hear your answer. Is it
Mine?
Yeah.
I think it's. I would say Tom Brady because.
Oh, okay.
Because I think
I just
after-
thought maybe you brought it up
Yeah.
because you thought Joe Montana was better.
No, I
So,
think. But there's a really. If you talk to like a lot of experts of like past quarterbacks, they're all on Montana.
who had better squads?
They both had good squads. No,
both-
Tom Brady didn't have a better squad. Montana had a better squad. Tom Brady? Who was their wide receivers?
They had Gronk, right? And
was great.
Every once in a while, they.
And
I
the
mean,
dude that
Moss
murdered
came
everybody.
through.
What was his
He
name?
won a title with like Edelman. He made white receivers relevant again.
Who's the dude that murdered
and Rich.
everybody?
Aaron Hernandez.
There you go.
He
My
didn't
cousin.
murder everybody. He murdered like one or two people.
What was the total on that?
It's like two.
2.5.
Don't make him out to be like a monster.
If he would have stayed out, what was the line?
Somebody
Like
flashed a
6.5.
gang sign on him.
What was the line?
Wait, was somebody flashed a gang sign on him at 7-Eleven? You just wouldn't have it. Go back to your mansion. But no.
CTE's a motherfucker.
He's like
bro.
minus 300 to get
I
somebody
was
on the
born
way
with
home.
CTE. I came out of the fucking right in the floor. No, but I think But you listen, they're both they're 1 and 2. But I would say Tom Brady at this point. Do you think he'll ever be surpassed by anybody in the league right now?
I think it's going to take at least 25 years.
Yeah,
At least.
You see Mahomes play this year? The guy can't get over 17 points. All of a sudden, let's have that discussion again.
Yeah,
We're already
well,
avoiding him.
Taylor Swift swamp.
Oh my God, they're so annoying.
Yeah,
We'll talk about that
I
later.
know.
Yeah.
So here we go.
And the
And
cutaways.
I'm gonna say it's this or that.
Okay.
Okay, and I got Kurt Rambis or Mark Madsen.
I don't know who either one of those people are.
I'm gonna have to go with.
Go ahead. So Kurt has the stats. I mean, he played with Magic.
Yeah.
And the goggles. I mean, dude, I wore rec specs.
Who's a better
I wore
prospect?
rec specs because he wore
Kurt
rec
Rambis
specs.
was a dude with a mustache. And
Yeah, yeah.
Who was a better
Okay,
basketball
okay.
player? Kurt Rambis was a better basketball player than Mark Madsen.
Yeah, I don't know. We're splitting hairs here. The
splitting
Madman
hairs.
Madsen.
Listen, the
Did,
guy
did he
was-
get deep in the
I
NCAA?
don't know who he made friends of. I think Kobe really liked him because that's the only way he kept making that squad. Because Kobe was like, let's keep him.
So Magic
Here's his
had
badges.
the nerd, and that's Kurt Rambis. And then Kobe had the nerd, and that's Mark Madsen. And he went to do this dance. He did this dance at the parade. And he's a Mormon. Great guy. I mean, we're talking
Stanford.
shit about it. Stanford.
You
yeah.
forget he had a
Mormon
great college career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
You don't need to answer that. This was a dumb question.
It was this and that. Hey,
We go from Joe-
on the spot. That was good.
We went from Joe Montana, Kobe, and all these people. He was like, Kurt Rambis or Mark Madsen?
Well, I
Who's the better
kind
Uber
of caught
driver?
on to that after. I was like, oh, okay.
He's like, I don't know.
He's
who
talking
he
about
is.
not even the 6th player. He's talking about the 12th player coming off the bench.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Well, that's good. I like that. That was a good segment, Kurt Rambis.
okay.
Okay, so you said something you had off sports.
I
This and that.
wanted to talk about the. You want to go into the?
Well,
topic?
let's do one last this or that, and
Okay.
then it'll lead us into the rest of the shit.
Okay, great.
Is because about a week ago or so, Katt Williams went on his rant.
Oh, yeah.
Which we will get to in a moment.
Really?
But we're gonna do the this
happened?
or that. Yeah. So, is the internet's been putting this up there? Are you Team Kevin or Team Katt? So
Oh, I'm Cat all day. I mean, it's Cat all day. He's speaking from the side that I speak from. It's weird because like politics and stuff is going to come into this play, but that's the way it is. He came out there and just spit, and he does his thing. Kevin Hart's hiding behind that Disney Channel, and it's the truth. Like, listen, he called everybody out. Cat called everybody out. And the
With
best
no
that everyone
regard.
did, and the best that everyone did, someone like made a rap. I mean, dude, what is this, 1980, the Super Bowl Shuffle? What the fuck? It's like, so I'm Team Cat. Go ahead.
well, all right. I'll take it from here because I know Kabir is trying to be political in his head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so am I. I will say
We have
we're
to.
both stand-up comics, right? So we got to watch what we say and where we're going to get our next meal ticket from. So
Or at least on camera.
I will say
Sorry, Disney.
I think both of them have great specials. I'm not saying every one of their specials is special, but both of them have memorable specials. Both have jokes that you can call back to and be like, oh, okay, you know who you're talking about. But I will say with the disregard that Katt came out and didn't give two fucks about anybody, I have to kind of be weighted on Katt because, again, but he's not pushing a team of people and worried about where his money's coming from too. And that's why I love Katt. That's why I love Dave Chappelle. That's why I love myself, because that'll be another question that I get to is in this business, it's so hard to get wrapped around man, what not to say and how it will be taken. But that should never be put into stand-up comedy, bro. That's the reason why I do stand-up comedy, is because, again, I put on a uniform so I can fight for my freedom of speech, and I get on the stage so I can speak my freedom of speech.
That's right.
So that's where I stand. So I did give a side. Where are you at with it?
I gotta go with. It's really tough because I love both of them. Actually, I'm a big fan of Kevin Hart and Katt Williams. Katt Williams, there's certain things that Katt Williams have said on movies and stand-up specials that have made me cry. I don't think I've ever. And listen, there's a couple jokes that Kevin Hart made me look, laugh. But there's something about Katt Williams' character, just like he's just that dude. Like, I don't know if Kevin Hart's like hilarious all the time. I feel like it turns it on in the camera. Not that I've met him or anything. I think Katt Williams is that dude all the time. I will also say he's mentally unstable.
Yeah, coming from a table of them. Yeah.
We are forgetting all the shit that he slapped that goddamn Walmart clerk in the face, and everybody tried to cancel. You just slapped him. He's like, "How's it going, Cat?" Okay, you can't do that. So obviously he's mentally crazy, which is why I take everything he said on that podcast with a grain of salt. Like, I don't think I believe a lot of it, but I can't prove it. I don't know how much of that is true, especially the Friday stuff. The stealing the joke stuff was obvious that Steve Harvey did that shit, but I love his crew. Katt Williams' crew, because those are like the old school comedians that had their, like Mark Curry, like those guys.
Yeah.
That were killers,
One of the nicest comics
but
ever.
yeah,
I worked with
great
him,
guy.
met him.
but that didn't just blow up like Kevin Hart and stuff like that. But I'm pretty much on Team Katt Williams because he just doesn't give a shit, and I love the fact he did that. He has nothing to lose.
Well, isn't he more like Richard Pryor and before he got all into the
Yeah, but people forget Kevin Hart got in the same kind of trouble. Remember, he was supposed to host the Oscars, and then they went back on his tweets, and they said he can't do this anymore.
Oh,
That
no,
was
I
only
don't
5-6
remember
years
that.
ago. That was not long ago.
For Kevin or for Kat?
Kevin.
Oh, for Kevin.
Oscars ain't.
Well,
they don't have
okay,
Katt Williams'
okay. So
number.
then
They
Kevin or
have
Kat?
Talk
Who's
about
taller?
Okay.
Who's taller?
I don't know. I think they're
And
probably
who
about
wins
the
in
same size.
who wins in a basketball game? Who wins a fight?
I think
Probably Kevin Hart basketball. There's a basketball
Yeah.
court in his house.
I know he's a good
shape.
swimmer, but I
Yeah,
don't
but
know
so
about
Kevin
a
Hart has
basketball.
had his things
But
in
did
the
you
past.
see Kat run that 40? Kat ran that 40 just like 2 days after he called himself, took his shirt off, sprinted down the thing, and I think he did less than
it was
5.
like a
You
4.6
can't predict
or
crazy.
something.
I wouldn't be surprised if he could lift up a school bus.
He's 52 years old, bro.
No,
He's-
he is a nutcase that you'll ever see. Like, so it's like
All right.
he has like that crazy strength. So yeah, no, I love it though. But if I
right.
were to go pick a concert right now to go watch 20 minutes of stand up tomorrow at a small club,
That's a good route. Yeah,
Katt Williams. How about
Kat
just
Williams
put
all
it that
there.
way?
Yeah, what about you?
No. Again, I said I'm a
20
Kat
minutes. You got 20 minutes to see
Kat.
here. Is it Kat or is it?
I will say this,
Kevin.
and this will probably hurt my comedy career, is since, what was it, the second special that Kevin Hart has, he hasn't even come close on any of the specials.
The second one's good.
Yeah, the first two were fucking fire. But since that special, I don't think they've been that special. And I don't mean any disrespect to Kevin Hart. And I also believe that Kevin Hart hasn't been that funny only because when you're so busy doing 50 million other things,
Yeah.
how can you focus on this? I mean,
Yeah.
I tell people this podcast takes away from writing jokes or whatever. And I get it. We're in a different realm of comedy right now. So I will say that. So
Yeah.
I will say for 20 minutes, yeah, I'd rather go see Kat. I think Kat don't give a fuck about all that extra shit.
So I have to ask you both. You both are in the entertainment industry, and so I know my answer, but it's this or that. Here we go. So when the Illuminati comes to you, or when you get to the sell yourself out, I'm sold. Take my money.
Oh, I'd be on my knees before they even walk through the door.
Oh, I
Stick a finger in
believe
my butt.
I believe Kabir
I can imagine.
Kabir owns 3 or 4 dresses that he just switches out every night. I can't wait to wear one of these
I'm not even kidding.
motherfuckers.
With like all jokes aside, I felt like people probably think that of me. But like, listen, I never gave a shit about movies or TVs. I just wanted to stand up. That's why I always like Kat, because I just like pure stand up comedians. I love doing that shit. So, but Kevin Hart though, great. But the thing is about what you said about Kevin Hart's material, kind of because he has so much other things to do.
Yeah.
Obviously his specials aren't going to be doing well when you got like the plastic cup boys writing your shit.
Well, that's where Katt's
Three
at, and that's what I was going to
national
say.
features.
Because once you hit that level, then it's not you anymore. It becomes a team. It's not, he doesn't write his jokes anymore. He doesn't do.
Oh, you
Well,
might-
we
I
don't know.
We
that.
don't know that.
We don't know that. I don't want to say that.
But
I think he has
and
help,
not just
help
him, but once you get to that
tagging
level,
or-
once you
or
get to that
hearing his
level,
shit.
yeah, they tell you what you want to say, or at least lean you in that direction.
Yeah, but that Katt Williams thing was wild.
'Cause
man.
that's 'cause he's
how much
real.
of that do you really believe all that shit? I don't.
All right, well,
Yeah.
well, that's
about
what leads me
22%.
into the actual questions away from this or that. Is I did put. What did you think about the thing? And let me say first, I felt like Shay did his motherfucking job, bro. Shannon Sharp did his job.
As much as I dislike him talking sports, he was actually good at
as
that.
someone who tries to interview, and I'm learning how to do this on the podcast, I think he made every right move, and it's just let the motherfucker talk.
Dude,
right?
put that bottle of Henny in there and let's go.
Let's get you another drink. Like he was
Katt
superb
but a
on
lot
that.
of that shit.
Do we know? I don't know if there's been people out there fact checking everything, but I think there was way more truth than there was lies in that
Yeah,
shit.
but the lies are so outrageous. You tell me
Yeah.
Katt
So-
Williams got offered $50 million 3 times and turned it down. No. You know why? I think he would. I think he would turn it down. But there ain't nobody offered him $50 million. I'm not saying that he would. I'm not talking shit about his character.
the
Yeah,
fact
he was
that
worth it,
He
yeah.
ain't get it.
I do want to
For
touch
what?
on the. I give credit for Ice Cube coming out and talking about the Ricky Smiley shit,
Well, Ice
where
Cube
where
said
where
he said there
you
was
know,
no rape scene in my. He said that there was a rape
yeah,
scene.
he said there was
it
no
like
rape
that.
scene.
Ice Cube, he's
He
nasty, Ice
did
Cube.
say that Ricky did read for Katt's part, but he goes, "That's what we do in Hollywood. We read for certain parts and we figure out where you're going to be best."
So Katt got on a heater. Okay, let's be honest. He got on a heater, and he was spitting most truth. But just like when you get me a couple hennies, maybe I start popping off.
Yeah,
You know,
they offered me the
I,
Golden Globes.
I think it was. I think
I
it
was
was.
offered the Golden Globes, but I was like,
I don't even
take
know
care of my mom.
where you put that in interviews. That's got to be one of the top 5 interviews of all time.
it's going to be.
You know what I mean?
He's hit
it's
a
Diane
gazillion
Sawyer
fucking
type-
views already.
Type shit,
he went
right?
ape shit, bro.
dude,
He went ape.
Shay is for play. I mean,
Yeah, so that one was another one where he says like, yeah, man, Ice Cube told me to write Friday 3 or Friday 4. I just haven't gotten around to it. You know, he asked me to write. I'm like, you've written 0 movies, and all of a sudden,
he's
I
William
look at
Tell.
it though
turned down
from
12 movies to write. Meanwhile, he's written 0 movies. So I'm like, come on.
I look at it from the standpoint though where there's other comedians like Ari Spears came out talking about the shit, and Ari Spears' name barely got brought up, and it's like, are you really chasing clout
Oh, no,
there
I'll tell you,
at that
everybody-
point? Where I liked the thing that Mike
Mike
Epps
Epps said
put
was
out,
hilarious.
Well, yeah, where
Oh,
he's
well,
like, man,
yes.
why did you name me? And I say the same shit. I said the same thing about the whole Ralph Barbosa,
he
George
probably
Lopez
likes
shit.
Mike. He
Where I was
likes
like,
Mike Epps.
Steve, why didn't you mention Rick James? God damn it, you could help me sell some tickets, right?
Yeah,
but
And that's where I am with that bullshit. Where I was just like, I hope Katt knows that there's comics that I dislike, but I purposely leave their name out of my mouth, especially on camera, because I don't want motherfuckers looking you up.
Yeah.
Like, so I think from that standpoint, but I think Katt was well calculated in the way he did it. It was something he was resting in his soul, and there was certain things that was just bugging him and eating at him. But I will think that everybody who has said that Katt is, yes, he's crazy, but he is a kind, gentle person. Put money in people's pockets that probably didn't or did deserve it at the time. I know he's helped out.
Heard a
I
bunch
said,
of those
A bunch
stories.
of fucking
There was a rapper he helped out that I forgot. He came in.
Bootsy.
Bootsy. He gave.
Yeah.
He just sent like
Like
he just
15
threw
grand.
15
Like,
grand in there.
yeah. So
He's been
you know,
known.
when you
He's
hear
been known to
stories like
stop
that,
by.
bro.
Yeah, he's
Like I plan to do that if I get big.
He makes his
I'm
own-
going from strip club to strip club, just handing out, trying to change these women's life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
About my life, Nick. No, but the other one was no, you're right. Yeah.
So-
and then he does his own tours. He makes he produces his own tours and he brings comics. They get like, I don't know, $250,000 for the whole thing.
So then I guess with that one, who would you want to spend 15 minutes with if you got 15 minutes? Harder or Katt? Harder Katt. If 15
No, obviously Katt Williams.
Uh-huh.
yeah. I think if we're
What am I
having
gonna do with
dinner,
Kevin Hart? Work out?
Well, what's
Run lines with him? I'd rather shoot myself in the dick. Let's go, Katt. Let's go punch some fucking 7-Eleven fucking clerks. That's a good
I mean,
time.
I think I would want to hang out with either one of them, right? Just to be like, man, just to be the fly on the wall, right?
Right.
Your jaw would be open the whole time.
I'd be
Imagine Katt. Imagine
with
dinner
Katt. You don't know where you're going. Like Do you have a gun?
He's like, I remember when I was president. I'm like, you were not president, Kat, but please continue.
So James, what did you take away from the interview? Did you watch the whole thing? That's
did.
another
I did
thing.
just
It
for
was
this.
it was a 2 hour 40-something minute long interview.
I took
that
it
I
in
think I
doses.
watched 3 times.
Yes.
So and it didn't feel like it was that long. So did you watch the whole interview?
I did. I took it in doses. Credit myself for not knowing half the people that he was talking about. But it's also, I got the feedback for the people that spoke out. So did you guys see that dude that jumped over the judge's desk
Yeah,
to
yeah.
attack that?
Yeah.
That first of all, what a great jump. I mean, I've always looked at that thing. I'm like, why is it that tall? Oh, because
That guy blew an NFL and NBA career.
Yeah.
I would have been scouting him.
Yeah, what do you mean? He's coming out. We're free him, free the man. But anyways, if I was to be called out, or if anyone was called out like Kat, I would be going over the fucking thing at the judge like that guy was. Like, I'm coming to get my thing back. Well, no, not at Kat, but to defend myself.
But you have to understand the people that he's going after are so big that they don't give a shit about that interview. Steve Harvey's $200 million.
He just sold
He
his.
doesn't. You think Steve Harvey? Steve Harvey's always said. Steve Harvey has never come out and said, "I'm a great comedian. These jokes are great, and I'm great at stand-up." Nah, he was just a motherfucker. He's a safe black dude. Looks like that could host stuff. I mean, the guy hosted like Miss Universe like 3 times. Even got the goddamn bitch's name wrong, and came back the next year. So I mean, like he is so into Hollywood. He doesn't give a shit what Katt Williams thinks.
Right.
He's not on tour. You think Steve Harvey's on tour? He doesn't give a shit. I felt that's why I don't mind people punching up. I just hate when people punch down. Like,
So
I would
this
hate
is-
Katt Williams to come bury like a newer comic or a couple other comedians that are still trying to make it.
Good point.
So I don't
like-
mind
yeah.
him going after people that Kevin Hart and stuff that they're gonna jokingly make fun of it, and also they're gonna make him. They're gonna say real mean shit. Like Kevin Hart, he'll just be like, "Look at me and look at you." My response was on a live ESPN game where me and my boys roasted you during a game. Katt Williams can't get on no ESPN. He can't go on First Take. So they could punch him from all the way up there down, or there's nothing to do. I mean, they don't care. They don't care. That's
so
What
my
if this was a marketing ploy?
But aren't they punching down on
Probably is.
both?
He's going on tour right now. And by the way, I was on Netflix the other day and I saw Katt Williams' special, 3 of them on Netflix in the top
Right,
10.
and now they're up there.
So obviously he did. I don't think he did that for a marketing ploy. I don't think he's all like, I need to make some money. Katt's great, but I think he was so good on that and so crazy that people did want to.
I think what I was alluding to is not for past stuff, but maybe for future shit. They're gonna use this as a marketing thing because if you forget, Katt went after Kevin years back and was like, "Hey, I'll see you at your own hometown. Let's see who sells out more tickets." Blah blah blah. And I was like I even forgot about that. Where I was like, "Oh yeah," but what if they use it in the future? And we see some like
they
a versus,
both made
like a versus type
millions from this argument.
Yeah, but
you
the
know?
problem, but Kevin Hart would never.
But here's
never
the thing.
want to do that.
And
He
here's the
doesn't need
thing.
to.
You guys are talking about punching down, right? And well, first of all, they're so small, everyone's punching down on them. But talk about punching down. You got the old boy in that wheelchair. I am the dude. Now they put him on Schindler's List, and he's the only asshole. Poor bastard.
Yeah,
you know
no,
the guy in a
that's true.
wheelchair.
Yeah.
Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'll tell you though,
talk about punching down.
It is interesting though. I think Katt Williams went after some guys that are not. He knows that they don't care. But it did make his brand bigger, which is great. But I really think he meant all that stuff. He's a psychopath.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I believe that he believes that. I believe that he believes that.
Turned down
Yes,
$50 million.
I believe he believes that.
To a
100%.
And then he was all like, "That happened."
All
That's
right,
my
fellas,
thing.
we're gonna stay on the topic of comics, but we've got to switch over. And I don't know if I should go first or not, but because this one, I've literally spent the last few days just answering on Jo Koy's side.
Oh, I'll slam it.
So I want to talk about Jo Koy's Golden Globe. One, I will say I only watched whatever TikTok clips.
No. I watched them all like 5 times.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it live.
You gotta watch it.
I didn't. So I watched his monologue. I tried to, and again, I watched it again because my girl's Filipino. So I was like, hey, let's, I gotta be
racial.
part of her culture.
It's racial.
And for her culture, it was something important. So first off, let me kick it over to Kabir and find out what you thought of the
Okay,
performance and everything.
First of all, let's start out by doing this, okay? Nobody wanted that job. They offered that job to everybody.
Who had it last year?
Ricky.
Ricky Gervais, maybe?
Yeah.
And he's the one that blasted, and Tom Hanks is sitting there going, "Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Ricky Gervais is the best at that because here's the problem here, and I'll tell you this. Nobody wanted that job. They went to Jo Koy. You got to take that job. You're Jo Koy. You're already selling out every arena in the world, so this will take you up to another level. Fine, perfect, good job, right? But he did it, and it was a big risk, and I give him props for doing it. I went up there. I saw the whole monologue. People were laughing. I didn't think, was I laughing my dick off or anything like that? Probably not, but I thought every joke was completely fine in that environment. I thought it was funny. I laughed. I thought it was fine. The crowd was laughing. People don't want to talk about that. Crowd was laughing. And now you want to shit on him over some the Taylor Swift joke.
what was it? Go ahead."
Well, I heard that the first time. I didn't even think anything about it. She just all like, well, Taylor Swift is here, and it's great because you're probably going to get more cuts of her on the camera than you would on an NFL game because we're at the Golden Globes, right? Basically saying that nobody gives a shit about her at the Golden Globes. But
Right.
the NFL game, she's like the main guy. What is the problem with that?
Because it's fucking Taylor. Dude. You can't shit on her.
Yes, you can. When Jim Gaffigan goes up there
And I will say he didn't even really shit on anybody, but I think they made him play it safe.
But then he did the Barbie joke. Now women are pissed off about that.
I
They're like,
saw
oh,
that.
the kids and be all like, and then she got fat or I never
Please
saw
let
Barbie.
me host,
And then
'cause-
he was all like, oh, it's called character acting. I thought that was kind of funny, and people did laugh. Jo Koy did fine. He did a great monologue. They're attacking him because everybody's a bunch of pussies. What did Ricky? Do you hear the shit that Ricky Gervais said? Jim
yeah, he
Gaffigan
did.
went on stage 5 minutes later and be like, I can't believe I'm in Hollywood. I'm from a small town in Wisconsin, and I'm not a pedophile. I mean, he said that.
That
shit,
was
and then
ripped.
everybody laughed. Nobody said shit about that guy.
yeah.
They're just going after Jo Koy because people are they don't know who he is, and they want to take shit away from him now. They're not going to take anything away from him. Jo Koy is fine.
Makes him stronger.
But I'm just saying that like people are like, who's Jo Koy? I hate when people say that. Who's this guy? Who's Jo Koy? Never heard of him. Why is he hosting? I'm like, well, get off a rock. The guy's been selling out arenas everywhere. He's been very successful for years. So don't shit on what he's done in the past just because of his 10-minute monologue. Anyway, Jo Koy, 2 thumbs up. Fuck Taylor Swift. And the worst thing, can I just say one more thing real quick? The dumbest shit I've ever heard all week was Travis Kelce's mom saying that Jo Koy needs to apologize to Taylor Swift. Okay? This is what I say, right? You want to apologize to apologize? Let me. Travis Kelce needs to apologize to Kansas City fans. Okay, he is playing with
Yeah.
the best
No, dude.
quarterback in the last 10 years, and they can't score more than 17 points and in the 5th seed. Okay, if Jo Koy owes him an apology, he owes me money. They haven't covered a spread since I was 7.
You know,
go
all
do
right.
his job. Shut the fuck up.
So just so we can finish that off, it's my opinion, and I posted it immediately, that I believe that she's the KOD, the kiss of death. Taylor Swift is, and she's a Kardashian now. She's going to start, if she gets attached to that team's going to fucking sink. And here's where we're at. Kansas City, what are they getting? How many points a game?
It's pathetic. So I don't want to hear anything about it. Travis Kelce's mom. Listen, the joke wasn't anywhere near anything we've heard in the past in the Golden Globes. Remember every time Ricky Gervais has introduced Mel Gibson? I like a drink like the next man, unless the next man is Mel Gibson. Now that's fucked up. And then he brought him on.
If you guys don't mind, let me go next because I know
Go ahead.
there's so many things swirling in my head that I want to get out.
Go for it.
And so I might get some right now and some in a little bit. There's a couple of things. I want to address the fact that you just said this. I don't know if it's true or not, but there was word going out saying that Ali Wong was asked to host first. She denied it.
She was
Then
number
I've heard-
17.
So
It went down the list.
and then, but I think this is what Hollywood does, though. Is Hollywood goes, oh, we can't get that Asian. Let's get this Asian.
Right.
And I think that's where I'm looking at it because I've seen a lot of fucking. You know who's hating on Jo Koy the most? Is his fucking people right now, and that's where I've been spending the last
that
3
crazy?
days. Fuck you guys.
Your
because-
biggest haters are your.
are your own people, and I can't stand that shit because it's like, oh, he's only funny because he makes his mom's accent. There's this one bitch I wish I could remember her name right now, where I fucking blasted her bullshit because I was there where when he came out with his movie Easter Sunday. I don't think we ever even put out that clip. Me and Rudy talked about it, and I held on to it because, again, I was like, you know what? I don't feel like what I said would come off right, blah, blah, blah. But I do want to bring up that movie because I feel like now that I've seen him do the Golden Globes, I felt like he was set up. I think Hollywood knows how much money he makes without them. and they set him up for fucking failure. And that's what Hollywood does.
could've
So I
went out
wanted
there.
to fucking put that out there. Where
he
you're
didn't
exactly
fail.
right.
It's no good news, bad
But
news.
but they're
fail.
making it look like he failed.
Yeah, but then then you could be an idiot and think he fails. It's not going to mess his numbers up.
No, he's going to sell
But
tickets.
you have to understand that Jo Koy, they went through a list of people before they went through.
Who was on that list? You know,
listen,
it was Stahawking.
It was dude.
Yeah, I don't know who was on the list. I wish they
It
wouldn't
went
put
back-
that out.
it
but-
went
Stephen
back to-
Hawking?
They
Is
went
it-
back to what is up with you and him? Did you watch the documentary? about him
Steinle-
recently?
I don't know because I'm into midgets doing math problems too. Goddamn it! So
Probably
that
wanted
shit,
Ricky
just
Gervais
no.
back. They probably wanted a ton of other people back, but they went. I know Ali Wong was offered it prior too, but then that's what people are saying. But then I thought Jo Koy did a great job. But listen, but if you feel like he said it was set up,
I think
I
the
don't know if
one
they
thing
set
that
him up
makes
with
it
that.
look bad is, and we've been there as comics, where he was like, "Oh well, I didn't write that joke." Where I think it was the frustration where sometimes you're like, "Dude, I'm trying my best, and you're on stage as a comedian, and it's not hitting the way you want to, or whatever." And I think they played on that a little bit too much. But I think Joe did a fine job.
Fine job.
I think he's been hilarious for fucking years. I'm glad he's getting his shit, and I believe people like Joe, Katt, Dave, anybody where you don't need somebody to put asses in the seats for you, and you can run your own fucking business. Fuck Hollywood. Do it on your own.
Well, at
so to answer your question, what you said earlier, fuck the Illuminati.
If they
Like
think
if I don't need you, I'm not putting on a dress. I'm not doing all that
Yeah.
shit. You're
Me
not
and
making
Kabir
me say
are.
some
Well,
shit.
then
So
if you're going to set somebody up that's making money that's not on Hollywood, why do it to such a nice guy like Jo Koy? Do it to Matt Rife. And another
Because
thing, he's too good looking to care. I mean, why are you taking Jo Koy out? Come on, he's worked his ass off for that for fucking 30 years. I went on tour with Jo Koy and Andrew Johnson for like about probably like maybe 4 to 5 weeks, 8 years ago, something like that. Nicest fucking guy I've ever met. Coolest dude. This is when both of them were doing shows together to sell out $2,000 to $3,000 seaters.
Yeah.
And he was always the coolest guy, so that's why I've always rooted for him, and I think he did a phenomenal job. And the only people shitting on him, not one comedian has said he's done a bad job, and not one motherfucker that's hosted the Emmys, Golden Globes, or the Academy Awards has all coming up with his defense.
And I do also
Who
want to
gives a
say
shit
that
what
I
these other
felt
guys
like,
think?
again, they're not going to put it out there, but I felt like somebody told him to watch what you say and to play a certain way.
So why does-
and when you do that for a comedian, bro, especially a comedian that's where I wish he would have just said, "Fuck you, I'm going to go out there and do what I do."
Yeah, because then he
So-
did what they said, and they still called it.
Y'all are comedians, right? Y'all are comedians. So, and this is your setup. There you go. You're gonna go. You're gonna go to this Golden Globes, and you've seen what is the tradition now? In the last few years, you just go there, and no matter what happens, you're gonna be able to put that Golden Globe thing in the corner of your thing and move on because who gives a shit? No publicity is bad publicity, and it seems like they're setting them up. The Golden Globes setting up comics to be like, oh, okay, go ahead. Because, dude, if you don't want, no one would know what a fucking Golden Globe was in the last 2 years.
The problem is Ricky
if
Gervais
they didn't talk
killed it.
shit.
He's a
Yeah, he
comedian.
killed it.
Rick
Yeah.
Rock, he's a fucking comedian. All the comedians in the past.
But
have
again,
absolutely
I think that
massacred
goes to my point is I felt like they really wanted an Asian host because if you look at some of the awards that were handed out,
Oh, were
Asians
they? I didn't
Asians
see
made a
that.
killing this
Okay.
year too.
That makes sense.
So again,
That's the beef.
I think
They
that's
do it.
Hollywood doing
No, that's what they do.
fucking do.
Yeah.
And like, oh, we
It's
need
entertainment.
an Asian promoter right now because we
It's
got
entertainment.
Asian winners.
When are they going to
And
get Latino and Indian global?
Russell Peters would have killed.
Oh yeah, he would have.
And if
yeah.
he would have, if you think that he would have done anything that they would have told him to do, you're out. He would have just went off the top of his head and roasted people, and it would have been hilarious. But see, Jo Koy is not a roaster.
Right.
Okay, he doesn't do crowd work.
Right.
He has his material and goes out there and kills it. Comics like Jeff Ross, Russell Peters, they go up there and talk. They're off the top of their head. Like I love doing crowd work. Like if you were to put like somebody that does crowd work, like myself and other really good people that do crowd work, then they probably would have said some shit. They would have gotten in trouble for it. But Jo Koy, people are now saying that he's not funny and he's offensive. That's all. You got to pick one or the other. He's not funny because he wasn't able to do his shit. If you think he didn't do well, and the other part is you still think he's offensive, get out of here. Also, I don't want to hear from anybody that's not been offered the Golden Globes or anything, or doesn't have a TV.
Right.
All right.
I just
you
feel
got to work tomorrow. Focus on that, you idiots.
I just feel like
The fucking nurses,
I'm going to keep
Filipinos,
hammering
really?
this down, you
Did the
guys.
Filipinos turn their back on him?
Yeah, they did.
Oh wow,
they did.
You know we're going
no
tomorrow?
Olympia
They're
there.
driving at 7 a.m. to the hospital. Fucking nurse.
Back to the Navy.
They did.
Listen to the doctor, all right, baby. Let the man do
And
his
it's
thing.
sad, but I look at someone like Jo Koy I think they're doing it to Bert Kreischer as well.
Why would a Burt
What
Kreischer?
Bird do?
Right, because Bert
Not be
Kreischer
funny?
came out with his movie,
Yeah, he released that on Rogan's shit.
and the movie was like
It wasn't that good, but it
wasn't
was the way that it
great.
came out.
It's the same way the way the Easter Sunday came out, where I was just like, when I watched these movies, I was like, I hope this is not the movie they hoped for.
So
Sebastian's movie was okay. I saw that. with
Sebastian
Donald-
was all
with-
right.
with,
It
Robert
wasn't
De Niro.
great, but it was better than the other two.
Certainly wasn't great. Don't get me wrong.
But wasn't Bert? So Bert was he was. We were having beef with fucking Russia, Ukraine. I think we still are. Sorry.
What did you do?
Thank you for your service.
Did you do something? He's all sending emails back and forth to Ukraine. Fuck Russia. Fuck your vodka.
I think it was during that time,
Yeah, no.
and that's when it switched.
Well, I don't think. Listen, I never even remember what. I don't know what this joke was. I know they turned that movie into a joke, but what he do?
Oh, so
Machine,
what ended up
right?
happening
Yeah.
is he's on Rogan's show, and he knew like about the day before he had a trailer for it, and the trailer they wouldn't allow this movie to start until the Russia thing cooled off because it's all about Russia, right? He's in Russia being a fucking drunk and shit.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is he's like, hey, I'm gonna fucking fuck with Hollywood for a second. Watch this. And he's sitting there. He's like, Joe, I'm fucking nervous, but here's the tape. And Joe's buddy, at the start of the show, they're like, all right, and they showed and Bert called his people and said, how fucked am I when I do this? And they're like, don't do it. And he just, let's do it, Joe. And they fucking put it out there. And so then Hollywood had to make the movie because the fucking trailer was out, and it killed because we all just wanted to see Bert and support Bert. I didn't see the movie, did you?
I watched about, like I said, I think I watched maybe about 30 minutes, and I didn't get through the
I
whole
just don't
movie.
find it funny
I
at
just found. You might not find them funny, but the reason I'm going and taking both these guys' sides, Joe and Bert, is because
That's bad.
those dudes have helped out so many comics.
Yeah.
Are the nicest people, and that's the world I live in.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean. So
whatever little
so-
thing I can do, I try to bring. I do the same thing. That's always been my motto because that's how I learned from Russell. You just got to help people out. But I think that just for the future of the Golden Globes and stuff like that, I think there's only two avenues to go here. And Jo Koy went right in the middle. You either have to like be so ridiculously offensive to where they have no choice but to laugh, or you just have to fucking just stay in your lane, do like the monologues where stand-up comedians do on SNL where they do their own material. Like I wouldn't mind him just going up there and just doing his set. You know, like they do on SNL, like Bill Burr and those guys.
Yep.
Just you got a 10-minute set, do your set and just bring it up to the Golden Globes. But you can't go in the middle. You can't. What Jo Koy did, he fucked up. He didn't go too offensive.
Yeah.
But he didn't do his set, and then now it just kind of becomes kind of funny. And now we have to complain about something, so let's call him not funny and offensive. So he just went right in the middle, and hopefully people will learn from that.
Well, did you guys watch his I think he did an interview. I think it was in LA the next morning, and I think that's where I got it, because you could tell he was frustrated about the whole situation. You could tell he's taken back, and even if you never see this shit, Joe, you did your fucking thing. Fuck anybody that and again, tell them you hosted next
But
year.
it must have been shocking for him because he went up there, got laughs and live, so he got off stage thinking he did a great job. And then all of a sudden, wham, Swift and these idiots trash him online. And then that's all it is. And I don't even think Swift was even being that serious. Like when they put the camera on her, I think it was kind of like a joking, like,
It was.
You know how people say,
Yeah.
like Jennifer Lawrence, whenever they say something mean about her, she'll just be like, look at the camera and be like, I'll cut you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that funny. I think Taylor Swift was trying to be funny, but since she has a personality as a pine cone, it came off like she was mad. So that's all. That's basically all.
Are you a
that is.
Swiftie?
And speaking about pine cones, our other friend Selena
He's
Gomez.
been to her
my God.
concert 4 times.
Could
Four?
you imagine having a conversation with Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift at the same time? Jesus Christ.
Have you been to a Swift concert?
Fuck no, I can't afford it.
I'm a Swiftie.
He said, no, I can't.
I'm a Swiftie.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
I couldn't even name you one of her songs.
I couldn't
So-
either, but I had to go one time.
I'll tell you what jerseys you're going to be able to afford after this year. Kelsey jerseys. Those are going to be half off. Get losers.
Let me see.
But anyway, last part. I did think Jo Koy did a great job. And listen, it just annoys me that people with absolutely no credibility or talent or can't even get anywhere near his level even should have an opinion about him negatively. If you just say, I didn't think he was funny, I thought it was offensive, that's fine. But if he says he wasn't funny, he was offensive, then come on. Nobody gives a shit about you. Go to work tomorrow. You got work.
All right. We're going to stay on comedy. One more question
Go.
for you guys. I'm bringing this up, Kabir, because We did a show a couple of weeks ago. So I'm gonna pose the question to both of you guys, but the question's gonna be about a disrespectful moment in comedy. All right.
So-
and maybe for James, maybe you've been around us enough that you've seen a disrespectful moment.
Okay, so yeah, and just so we got my background here, I've just been hanging out with Kabir and Curry and Rick for a while, and I'm trying to do some producing and stuff. So I've seen some things, and I see it from a different light. And so yeah, what's the question? Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you my story
Disrespect-
first.
oh, the disrespect.
I'll tell you my
Okay,
story
go
first,
for it.
or the way I saw it that night, and then you guys can tell me
ahead.
about a disrespectful moment in your comedy
That happened to you?
outlook. Yeah, it happened when we went down to SoCal, if that's the way you want to call it, even though I'm Central Coast area, Santa Maria, right?
Oh, Santa Maria.
I just felt like the lady that was
Santa Maria. So
that
set
was
the
put-
room. Set the room. How many people in this place?
It was a company show. It was a private show.
Okay.
Over 300 people
Okay.
there. I totally understand she pays. And I just went up and asked the host, right? Because Kabir didn't tell me that they wanted a certain type of comedy until about 10 minutes before
It's a
the
Christmas
show,
show,
right?
you idiot. What am I
Right?
supposed to do? Write it down on a napkin with a
he
crayon?
he also knows my comedy, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, what jokes and how much time? Like, I'm trying to figure it out and give me some time to think about it. So I asked the host, I'm like, hey, does there have to be a certain type of comedy? And he goes, well, no, go ahead. We're all adults. Everybody here is over 18. And then he goes,
So you're ripping, and then what is
right?
the crowd though? What kind of crowd? A mixed crowd?
Normal people.
Just
mostly
business.
white and Mexican,
What's the business?
probably.
White Mexican. They were young.
White Mexican. Got
Yeah.
it. Got
I
it.
don't want to name the
We're not naming
business, but
business.
Got it.
So the host was cool, and he was like, and then he stops himself and goes, "Hey, let me ask the owner." And I go, "Okay." And mind you, there's already like tension there because I think she felt like I didn't shake her hand fast enough or something, but she was mid conversation with Kabir. So I waited till they stopped, and then I introduced myself, shook her hand. So we fast forward to 10 minutes later when I'm asking about this. Then me and the host walk over, and I go, "Yeah, I just want to make sure, is everything free reign?" Or she goes, "No." No cursing if possible.
Clean show.
And,
Clean show.
And I go, okay.
Okay.
And at that point, it should have been stopped because I understand I'm a fucking adult. And then she goes, just so you know, if I don't like what you're saying, I'll go up there and pull you off, or we'll turn off the microphone.
She said
And
that to
that's
both of them.
where I was just like, okay,
No, remember?
like that's your third strike.
She says, I know him. I don't know you.
Yeah.
And I'm
And,
like,
yeah.
okay,
And
don't
she
piss
just
him
kept
off.
on and on. And then even after that, I asked her, do I have enough time to go and run to the restroom? Because she was like, we're going to get started. And I go, well, when are we going to get started? And she goes, you'll get up there when I tell you to get up there. And that was the last where I was like, who does this old white lady think who she's talking to, bitch? Like, and I was like, don't talk at me, talk to me.
So how many shows have you done after with her?
White ladies.
Oh, I'm never gonna.
No, we
I'm-
just did it in December. It's a Christmas show.
I'm never gonna go back to that. So that made me think, because again, it's your Illuminati shit where I'm just like, dude, I didn't need the money that bad. I didn't need the money to be here, and I think I did a good enough show
did
to
great.
try to be PG-13 as much as possible, and I purposely put jokes in there. We're saying I was a nurse, I was educated, because I just felt like if you talk to me like this, I wonder how you talk to your fucking employees.
Right.
Like, hey, shot me out. I wish I could say the name, but you know.
Well, I met
I'll
her
make sure-
husband. I met her husband, and I feel like that. I don't think women are allowed to speak to employees in his mind.
So I bring that up
That's who he is.
because I think, to me, I'm like, man, I don't think people see the outside. When they see us do stand up, they think everything's wonderful. People think we make millions of dollars.
No,
doing
dude, you
this
guys
shit,
are
and
back there
but
grinding.
We're
Yeah.
fucking out here dealing with this bullshit. So when you post about our Golden Globes hosting, fuck you guys, because you don't see all this extra drama that we got to deal with. So I just wanted to know where. For me, this was the most disrespectful thing that I've dealt with in the last 5 years of comedy, and it wasn't that bad. Kabir's probably going to tell you it
certainly
wasn't,
wasn't
right?
that bad.
So, but I finished my set
still
and I
doing jokes
waited
over
in the
there?
car the rest of the night.
No, he was
they-
pissed, though.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
she
Because
was-
Kabir was like, "Why don't you go?" I was like, "Dude, I'm trying to save us right now. Like, let me just be mad in the car. Because I go back in there, I might slap an old lady."
Yeah. She
So
was
what
really-
about you? What about you? What's your most? And he
Well,
says
mine's an old-
disrespectful, so I took it a different way. But go
It
ahead.
doesn't have to be me. Well, I'll take it the other way. So this just happened last December, actually. Again, I was doing this really, really high-end tech company, like huge. All the big rich people were going to be there.
How many people?
It was probably it was a 5-day thing, so maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people, 3, 4.
Oh, badass.
So they booked me to do comedy, and they paid me, mind you, they paid me $10,000 for this set, and it was supposed to do 25 minutes. Now, here's the thing, what I'm thinking, right? $10,000, great payday. Number 2, 25 minutes in front of every big corporate person in the game. I'm going to double that into 6 figures immediately. I got my 25 minutes ready to go, every word. And you know I don't prepare, but I was prepared for that shit. I show up to the event, and apparently the thing went long, and people kept all the dancers and all these, they had top-notch entertainment. So it's my turn. It's like 8:30, and they're like, do you mind just doing like, I don't know, like 4.5 minutes? And I was like, 4.5? I was like, she was fucking with me. It's like, what do you mean 4.5? I'm up in 4.5 minutes? She's
Right.
She's like, we need you to do 4.5 minutes. And I was all like, well, for Christ's sake. And then I was ready to go. And then they put me up at 4.5 minutes. And she's like, oh, hold on. Give me 5 more minutes. And then they're like, everybody, the buffet line is open. Please grab your plates and eat. Meanwhile, you're grabbing your food. We have an amazing comedian. Give it up for Kabir Singh. No intro, no nothing. I go up there. Everybody stands up. They'll eat. I do 4.5 minutes. I walk off stage. The only people who were paying attention was probably the first.
Did you still get the same pay?
Fuck yeah, I got the same pay.
Okay, well, there
That's the only thing that counts. Hey, and that Kabir thing is hilarious. You need to bring that back.
I mean,
so when he goes on the road and shit for laugh.
All right, well, let's finish the story.
You know,
I just wanted to know if he got paid.
If you wanted me to do 5 to 7 minutes, that's fine. But don't just call. Don't even. I should ask for 20 grand now if they would have paid me 10 grand for fucking 4 minutes. But like, yeah, I did get paid obviously. But then the disrespectful part about that was not cutting my time. Is the fact that they put me up.
Right.
When the chow line was open.
You're gonna just give me my 5 minutes at least, and then call the buffet over. Don't call the. What are you really that much behind? Where you have to use my 5 minutes for a fucking grab your plates and grab some tandoori chicken? I mean, it's gonna be there in 5 minutes.
That is mad disrespectful,
dog.
Disrespect.
But they were very sweet. I couldn't flash on them because it's 10. I want to do it next year. But for me, I walk outside, man. I went over there. The bartender was all like, because I was drinking with the bartender the whole time. He gave me like a double shot, and he's like, that was rough. And I was like, yeah, I know. He's like, you want a cigarette? I'm like, I got it. I'm going away. Fucking left that event. No, I didn't leave that event. I'm lying. I came back during the after party to mingle with people.
Right.
How long ago was that?
People.
This was last weekend of November.
Oh shit!
You didn't get the 100,000 6-figure. You didn't rub elbows with Zuck or.
What hurt me was I know it was a great payday, and I don't get a lot of 10 grand paydays. I'm not sitting here like I get $10,000 a fucking show or anything like that. That was great, and I appreciated that. But I could have. I got booked for 2 more gigs after that. Okay, off of 5 minutes, man, I could have walked out with like 80 grand worth of gigs. I'm not even kidding. I'm not saying like, no. Or even if I booked 8 $5,000 gigs, or whatever, even if I booked 10 $5,000 gigs. It's just like, what are you doing? You just took hella money away from me for no reason. And just let me do the 5 minutes before the buffet so people could hear me. That's all I wanted. Right. But I mingled my ass off in the after party and got some contacts. But it could have been a big year. This year would have been taken care of if they would have just let me do my goddamn job. Very disrespectful.
So in tribute to Curry, because he's not here, and it was the Curry event that we did.
Oh God!
And it's it's not disrespectful. No,
we're not talking about Jeremy Curry being disrespectful to other people, right?
Because I thought that's the way you were going to lean this story. I was like, damn.
We went and did an open mic thing, and he put a big bounty up there, and he got a bunch of comics to come out, and it was open mic, and it was an open area, and no one could fucking hear a word. No one could hear a word.
Where was it at? Stockton?
I'll tell you, but I'll tell you later. I don't want to blow the spot up, but they go there, and Curry can't host it no more because the people and the bartender and everything is so fucking loud, and the poor fucking people, they're going for like $200. So fucking
in that
comics.
City,
and, dude. Not only did we send Kami back like 20 years, but we felt so fucking bad. We gave everybody at least $20. We're like, oh my god, because it took balls, bro. It took balls. They got up there and they said, hey, I came here to spit 10. I'm gonna get or 8 or whatever we were giving them at the time. And they spit it. And I mean, that's where you cut your teeth, I guess. Because there's the dudes that walked out, man. And I was like, Jeremy, and I'm sitting there. I'm so embarrassed I can't drink. At least I'm fucking fucked. I had an event and only 20 people show up. I can drink. This one, I'm watching it melt instantly. And I mean, I'm 3 days later, I'm calling Curry and I'm laughing. I'm going, how bad was that?
Oh, see, that's where you need a videotape.
That's
Those
funny.
shows,
We
bro.
should have had, and we are for now
shit.
on. That's
He
that's
said he sent comedy back 20 years.
fuck, dude. These poor bastards. I swear, there's 20 something people there. I swear 5 of them quit comedy that night. And I mean, they just went home and started going to fucking Costco or fucking UPS or some shit. We had a fuckload. He put a big bounty
You can't
on
even put the goddamn.
the city. Yeah. Oh, Merced.
Oh, Merced.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I know the name. That's all I needed here. Yeah, but so that's great. That's a good topic.
When you said that, because I don't get disrespected, I'm not on stage, and I've seen y'all work, and I've been to quite a few shows, not only here in this states, but across the country. And it's weird that you had mentioned that because I never seen anyone give shit to the. You guys are back there. You don't need a lot of warm up. They give you a fucking cool green room, but you're not using it. Fucking Kabir hooks me up half the time. He's like, "Hey, grab the beers, man." I'm like, "Okay."
But that's
put
not
2 in my
every
pocket.
place. That's what I'm saying. Some of these places are so
That's
disrespectful sometimes,
insane.
and that's where I'm just like, where they just treat you. They just treat you awkward.
It's mostly
bro,
private
where
gigs that can be like
sounds
that
like it.
because they have all the power because they're already overpaying you. Or listen, I guess here's a better way of putting it. They have all the power because it's their event and they planned it. And you're kind of, when you're a comedian, when you headline your own shows, like I'd say if I'm doing Tommy T's or Cobb's, I'm running that fucking show. I'm going to the bar, like 2 shots, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm just running around doing whatever I want. You have control over the show. But when that's like being a hired fucking, like a waitress or something like that. You're basically a hired.
And not that
I
I'm
got
not
it.
thankful for it, but I'm not thankful when you treat me like the
So
hired
I
guy.
got a disrespectful for you. I got it. So then we were at Frankie, Johnny, and Luigi's over there, and Curry had a gig there, and we had the Woke Smoke Comedy Tour out Stockton afterwards. So Kabir just came by to say, we were going to have a couple drinks. He ended up meeting the guy. He had an 80th birthday. Amazing. Great classy guy. So the 2 kids that came up, and I call them kids because I'm 50. They're probably like 28 or 30, whatever. But the first kid that went up, and he was like calling them all white people. And
That's his boy.
And I'm like, "It's your buddy. It's your buddy." And he kept saying, and they come to me like I'm the fucking producer. Hey, I'm hanging out with Curry and Kabir. We're going. My show's in a minute. We're at a fucking Italian restaurant.
I went on stage.
He did. He killed it. He crushed it. But the kid came, and so he's calling a bunch of Italians white people.
Couldn't stop cursing.
And
I'll tell.
dropping.
We don't want to. Well, you can edit it out.
Yeah.
We'll wait. We'll
Yeah,
wait
no.
until
So
the
he
end
went
of
up there to rip. He went up there to rip in an 80-year-old birthday party, Italians, and called them white the whole time when they were like, "That's you're Puerto Rican. I'm Mexican, Spanish, Italian." It's like, dude, there's a fucking difference.
They were
I'm
not
not white, bro.
Yeah.
They were Italian too. They were like looking around, and
it
I'm
was
just all
Guido.
like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
To the point that they came up to me and I had to go in there and fucking
didn't-
do
they
something.
didn't
And I'm not even
button the
producing
top
this
3
show. I
buttons
have
and
nothing to
shit,
do with
huh?
this. Yeah, top 3
okay.
buttons. Well,
Yeah,
Frankie, John, and Luigi. I mean,
Oh yeah, no.
great guy. The owner of the company. He wants us back.
Pizza was
Great guy.
amazing.
Fucking great guy.
Food was great.
This dude and his pizza. All right. Let me ask you guys this before I ask the question: Is where are you in the lineup of your family?
Right now, that's a great question because right now I'm probably like 1 or 2.
I mean, what I'm asking is, are you the oldest, the middle, the youngest? Where are you in the lineup of your family?
Of my
Of
whole
your
family.
siblings.
So my
Of
parents
your
are.
siblings.
Oh, I just have one sister and she's a few years younger than me.
So you're the oldest.
What are you
I'm
ranking
50.
of who they like better?
She's 47. I know.
I asked that, right? What did I? Fucking
How are you first or second? The answer is only 1 or 2.
And assuming I have kids.
the fuck? I can't remember what I wrote this question. It has to do with, and I'm glad you're the oldest because you're the oldest. I'm a middle child. Youngest.
Got it.
And it's a different perspective for everybody in the fucking family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting down and I was watching Blocks, which is Neil Brennan's podcast, dope ass
Okay,
podcast,
it's
right?
okay.
And he had Gabriel Iglesias. He dropped this morning, and I was watching him, and they were talking about just the dynamic of the family. And then we talked about Neil Britton believes that the youngest is always the funniest in the family.
Oh, yeah.
I believe the middle child is always the comic in the family because we're trying to figure out how to keep the oldest from
Entertain
not
the
beating
older
fuck
and
out
yes,
of the youngest,
yes.
right? So
You gotta understand though. You grew up with your siblings, right?
yeah,
See,
for the most part.
My sisters are in their 50s. So
Oh, you were
when I
second
was-
generation.
Yeah,
Okay.
So when I didn't have
Okay.
my sisters around me. So
Yeah.
when I was born, it was just me, my dad, and my mom. And then they went out to college. They probably went to college. 1984. Yeah, probably like when I was like 5 or 6.
Oh, really?
So-
Oh, I thought you guys were. I knew they were older, but I
Way,
thought
way
maybe like 8 or 9 years older.
No, we're probably thinking more like, I hate to be bad, but like maybe 12 or 13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
that
I
is
never
a little
went.
different.
We weren't even. We haven't.
No.
I wasn't even in the same elementary school as the.
That's it's a crazy thing because you're fucking instantly an uncle, or you're instantly
Yeah,
But before you're 12, you're like Uncle Kabar.
I was
Kabir.
funny because they moved to India and put me in a goddamn local elementary school, and the only way I could survive was make these guys laugh.
You went to India?
Whooping my ass. Yeah. I was when I was 8 and 9 years old. My dad took me. We moved to India, and my dad had this thing, and then we were living in Mumbai, and there was a private school and a public school.
So you've messed with rupees? You've had a rupee?
Every normal father would put you in the the private school at that point, but my dad wanted me to get like a real good vibe of India. So I'm going over there with these fucking guys like whose dads are driving us and cleaning our houses, and I'm American. Look at me, and they're just like, "Why the fuck is this guy here?" So I used to get my ass beat every day, almost every day. So that was rough. It was like the ghetto of India. But the only good thing is, that's how it became funny again. I was just like always making jokes, and it's hard to be funny when they can't understand the fuck what you're saying.
Yeah.
It wasn't even an English medium school.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That was survival. Yeah.
8 or 9 Kabir. I could
bullets
just
with
see him
laughs.
over there trying to fucking cut jokes. Fucking.
And
Hey, talk about
I just feel like that's so funny because as I've gotten older, I've also realized where you are in the family lineup and your siblings, you get a different perspective of your parents as well, right? Your sister probably thinks, or you probably think she's the spoiled one.
Oh, she's absolutely spoiled. I mean, that's the way it works.
Because the oldest always says that, where
Well,
the
'cause-
oldest always gets all the ass whoopings
Yep.
first,
and
because you
the
got to keep the other
curfews.
kids in line,
Yeah, and
right?
the curfews, and you can only be out. I go in the Marine Corps. She basically took over my room and her room. She coaxed them for 12 years of fucking college. Yeah, she's got a PhD in fucking.
While you're out there dodging bullets.
Right. I come back to my room. One night I get to sleep there. It's all her shit.
Welcome back, hero. You might see some changes.
Right, and was she spoiled? Yes, and
flamingo.
the things that they were letting her get away with, it's like fuck no. And she was only 3 years younger than me, but yeah, there's always going to be a different mix. I left and I went in the Marine Corps for the next. She was like a freshman,
How much older are you?
like 3 years.
3 years.
3 years. So she was a fresh. So she got to be a single, single kid to the family. I'm overseas.
Yeah.
I'm not even in the area. So, hey, she got spoiled rotten. She feels like shit now because she got all the fucking spoils. But hey, this is
And
where
I
we're
think
at.
I've had this
That's what you
argument
fought for.
on the
That's what you fought
podcast before where I feel like the youngest, I've made the argument for the youngest, but I'm about to ask you because it's a little different, right? Where I tell people the youngest, everybody thinks the youngest is more spoiled, gets more out of the family. And I go, but there's also the fact that the older siblings move out. Parents' income usually goes up. There's
Absolutely.
less people in the house.
Oh, dude, they're
But-
stopping to feed me.
right? So
Opposite over here.
I look at my younger sibling and I'm like, this motherfucker, that's why they paid for him to go to law school and shit. And I was like, but there's also other factors. But then I look at like Kabir, right? Where
We went down.
was it
So
the
what-
other
so-
way
so-
around? Because
yeah.
both your
Go
older
ahead, tell
siblings
us.
We were
went to law school and
when I
doctor
was-
school and
when I-
fucking.
yeah, both doctor, lawyer. I went to I was born in Lake Oswego in Portland, Oregon, which is like still the highest end over in Oregon. And then for some reason, when they left, yeah, then we just went downhill. Like
You're like, bitches, move back in.
that was actually the reason why it became funny too, is to keep my parents' heads up. It's like, that's okay, another apartment. What happened to the mansion I was born into? But anyway,
He's the only one that I know it went reversed on him.
I went from the nicest school in like Oregon history to Vashi, New Bombay, Sector 8 school.
Now, was that also part of? And again, you don't have to get into all your family shit, but I was just thinking maybe it was because your parents had to pay for
My dad
for a
was-
lot of schooling
No,
for
my dad
both
was-
your siblings.
No. Yeah,
No?
that was probably a lot of that too. But also
Okay.
you gotta understand though, it doesn't just because I was born. They were born in my parents' prime. I got grandparents as parents by the time I was 10.
Absolutely.
Like, my dad was old.
Absolutely.
Like, he was. My mom had me when she was like 40 something.
Do you have like an older
My
palate
dad
too?
was prime time killer CEO for the first like 8 years of my life, and then obviously health problems would occur, and then it kind of went downhill. It's not his fault, but it was a lot of him having So it was more of the age thing. They were so old. It's hard to get a job when you're like 51 starting all over again. You know, you just have to kind of
Especially during that time, yeah, because this is fucked. Now it's a little bit different, but it is fucked.
Plus, my dad actually had the opportunity to stay in Portland, but then, you know, with the ego and stuff like that, a German company bought it over, and they're like, he was the CEO of that. He's like, we'd love to have you stay. We have to bring our own CEO. You just got to take one notch down. My dad's like, go fuck yourself.
And that's
way
where
to stand strong.
And my mom tells me that story. You know, we were doing too good until your dad said, fuck all of us. And I was like, she would say that. She would always wait for my birthday for that, too. I was like, Mom, it's my birthday. Come on.
But that's a different perspective, because I tell you met my youngest, and he's 19. My oldest is 22. And their mom has they have 2 other siblings. And by the time their siblings graduate high school, they're going to be damn near 60. So I'm like, not only are you about to graduate, but now you're going to have to wipe ass pretty soon.
So your son's 19, right?
Yeah.
Your son that we saw today. So yeah, you didn't tell me that, or I'd ask him questions, because when I was 18, 19, I knew fucking everything.
That's why I didn't tell him anything. That's why I didn't ask you to tell you that.
Thank God, because he wouldn't give you more than 1 or 2 words, because that kid don't talk. So.
What I would pay to be 18 or 19.
That fool has a three-word answer. How was your day today? Good. What's your favorite movie?
All right, fellas, that's all the questions I have. Anybody got anything before we?
Are we 5 ball right now?
It's almost 5. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess when will this come out?
Hopefully, I'm going to edit it in the next week, and the latest by next Friday. So.
Oh, lovely. Okay, I just want to plug one thing. I guess I don't really have much to plug. I'm going to be out of city mostly. But if this just comes out, I'm headlining Pachanga Casino on the 16th, 17th, and 18th. And then
we're all going to be in Vegas February 9th.
Oh, that's
February 9th, dude. And then what's the where are we at there?
So I'm going to be doing so many things. We're going to be doing a lot of side spots, but
just so you know, we're recording this. It's on tape.
Yeah.
We're going to be there.
Yeah,
February
we will be there. Dirty at 12:30. What are we doing?
We're going to be doing some live. We'll do some podcasts over there too. Vegas. So I'm going to be headlining. I'm going to be there Super Bowl weekend. So I'll be there Thursday, Friday for the Dirty at 12:30. Private gig Saturday, Super Bowl Sunday, and then that Monday through Sunday. The Monday after Super Bowl, I'll be headlining the LA Comedy Club, and they're always a blast.
LA Comedy Club.
And if you want some tickets, just hit up Rick or KabirSingh.com. You can join the mailing list, and tickets are on me. So Super Bowl week in Vegas. Can't wait to see you, boys.
So what casino is that at?
That's at Stratosphere.
The Strat. Another week at the Strat.
And then we did the whole thing. It's beautiful.
Dude, we had a great time last year.
My main man, Big James, the comedian Big James. Get up on.
In my opinion, podcast. My opinion, podcast. All nine niggas.